Welcome back to Dynamics Unplugged. It's been a minute. Happy Groundhog's Day. Guess what we'll be talking about today? Copilot, Dynamics 365, Finance and Operations and Supply Chain Management, Prompt Engineering, all the same old stuff, really. I have a pretty good use case that I want to go over, and it's how to evaluate asking the same question to different types of copilots. A lot of people are asking, what can we do with copilots? What is a copilot? Where do they exist? I've done some demos here on this cast before around Copilot in Bing, and more recently I've been able to deploy the Copilot help and guidance experience in D365 Finance and Operations, as well as start exploring Copilot Studio. So here we have Copilot Preview for D365 Finance and Operations. If I navigate to our feature management, we can take a look at what that feature is actually called that was recently enabled. So down here we have the user experience for Copilot in Finance and Operations. This is an AI-powered assistance app using large language models. You can think of it as Clippy, of course, but it utilizes public documentation, primarily Microsoft Learn, as you'll see, to help guide you through questions that you have about D365 Finance and Operations, how it works, how to find specific things, how to do different tasks, if you're looking for a menu or a piece of data. There is prerequisite setup outside of just enabling the feature. I was able to deploy it here now that I have an instance in version 10.0.38. So actually, let's maybe ask about that. A lot of day-to-day users might not know what really the product version really means to them. They know that periodically they have updates and new features get released. So let's go ahead and ask Copilot, what product version is my environment? And it tells me to determine the product version of my D365 Finance and Operations environment. Select Configure on my project dashboard. Look for the application platform version, displayed version number. Now that doesn't sound right. Perhaps you might look at that and say that sounds more like LCS or Dataverse or Power Platform Admin Center, but as a Dynamics user, that doesn't mean anything to me. So a lot of you probably already know that if you come up to the help, this question mark icon at the top and click about, it will give you the details about your finance and operations installed product version 10.0.38, the platinum version. It links to the latest release plans around when all these features were implemented, when potential new features might be implemented, and the release plans. So now that we know that, let's go ahead and rephrase our question and reprompt the Copilot. What installed product version is my Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations environment? And it tells me to determine the installed product version of the environment, sign in, navigate to the help menu or the about page, look for the information related to the product version or build number. Please note that the exact steps may vary depending on the specific version and configuration of your environment. And it includes a link here that brings us to Microsoft Learn and talks about deploying an environment. But if we look at those instructions, really what it was saying was to go to our help menu, the question mark, help and support, then navigating to the about page and finding that same information. This teaches us a few things. One is, as many new users and companies of Dynamics know, terminology is everything. Dynamics has its own set of terminology and phrasing that might be contradictory to what you used in a separate ERP or might just be uniquely different. So knowing the exact menus, data you're looking for will really help with the Copilot preview of the help and guidance feature. It only points to that public documentation. It's going to be very specific in its guidance and it's pulling that information from navigation. So it's not the same as perhaps using something like the Bing Copilot. So let's go ahead and say what installed product version is my Dynamics environment. Now, this obviously is not connected to my Dynamics environment, so hopefully that is taken into account as I search the Bing Copilot. And here we're actually getting some good information. It is telling me how to check the installed product version. This one not only says to look for the help menu, it tells me to look for the question mark icon. This is actually even more specific. It has perhaps a wider range of public documentation it is using, and here actually below it has the Power Platform Admin Center. This sounds more like the first piece that I got of guidance, and it actually includes links to all of that. So the prompt engineering, I just said what installed product version is my Dynamics environment, not access to data. It gave me a pretty good instruction on how to check that, perhaps even better than the one that's in Dynamics. Now let's look at a third use case. Here I have Copilot Studio. In Copilot Studio, I can develop my own Copilot. I can give a lot of sources to that, whether those are public websites, those could be files that I have, that could be generative AI plugins. The only one I've hooked up to my Copilot at this time is actually the Microsoft Learn website. So what happens if I ask now this Copilot that same question? What product version is my Dynamics 365 environment? The version of your Dynamics 365 environment can be found in the environment details. So once again, this one links to Power Platform Admin Center as a starting point. So let me go ahead and rephrase my prompt to see if I can get something a little bit better. So I'm actually going to say what installed product version, now that I know that terminology, is my Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations environment. And we'll ask that of the Copilot that I've deployed through Copilot Studio. And now we see to determine the installed product version of your Dynamics 365 Finance and Operations environment, you can follow these steps: sign in, navigate to System Administration module, go to System Administration Setup, System Parameters, click on System Parameters, go to the Help tab, and look for the installed product version. Note that these exact steps and terminology may vary depending on your version and configuration. So that's actually slightly different from any of the other examples we've got. So there you have it. 3 copilots, 3 same or similar questions, 3 similar or different answers. Lesson in prompt engineering. You want to learn more, you got to pay for it. Thanks for coming in for our demo. Happy Groundhog's Day.